Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm doing a Sims 4 house build for you. I like to have it on afternoon, it does make it a bit brighter. So to start things off, we are going into the build menu and I'm just bringing out the wall tool to build a room. I tend to start off with building a room and I tend to build bigger than what I expect, because with Sims I find it easier to build bigger and then shrink it down. You can obviously change the room size and the wall size, but I'm sticking with the smaller walls. So here I'm just extending and making the rooms how I like it. Now the roofing is a lot different in Sims 4, there is no auto roof. So there are a lot of selections of roofs, but I prefer using these roofs. I think that is called the gabled roof. I'm just getting two of them and placing them on top of the rooms that we've just built. And to get it to look clean, I tend to pull the second roof in towards the first roof. Here you can see that there is a little bit of the roof clipping out of the side of the house. To change that, you can extend one room, or you can use the little arrow there and clip the roof inwards to make it actually slightly smaller. Or the room that the roof is actually above, you can make that smaller, but I decided to make the room next to it bigger and extend the roof across like that. It just makes it look more clean and more pristine. Going in now onto actually sort of building the rooms themselves, I am changing the shape of them a bit, which then does mean you have to change the roof. Like I said, there is no auto roof, which is really annoying, unfortunately. So now I've got my house shape sorted, I then need to decide on what it's going to actually look like, whether I want it to be brick or panelled. I do tend to do a lot of brick. I like the look of brick houses. I just think they look very old-fashioned, and in some ways that is what I like. I like old-fashioned houses. So here, the design that's actually on the roof now was a scalloped roof, and we've gone for the scalloped roof there in a darker colour, which is nice. And then here I've gone for a roof trim just to finish off the roof, and I've gone for one in white. I just think it finishes off the roof quite nicely, gives it a nice touch. So the house is complete, I just need to pick a front door. So I am choosing one of the base game doors. One of these two is perfect for old-fashioned houses, but if you are looking for something even more old-fashioned, then I do recommend the Vampires Pack. The Vampires Pack is full of items in there that are very old-fashioned looking, which is perfect if you are definitely going to build a Victorian-esque kind of house, which is kind of what this house is based off, but also not. It's sort of traditional as well. So before I actually start building, I do put some lights into the rooms just so I can see a lot clearer what I am doing. So that is a good tip for when you are building. Definitely have it on afternoon, and also put in really bright lights before you even start building. That way you can see exactly what you are doing. So the first room we are going to be working on is, I do believe, the kitchen. So this house is going to be quite open planned. As you can see here, I am bringing in an archway. Unfortunately, it doesn't sit directly in the middle of the wall, which is what I would have liked. But I like where I've put it there. It gives me enough space to put things on the wall next to it. Just adding some doors into the other rooms. So this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. The little box that you can see near the front door, that is going to be the bathroom. Trying to decide on windows. Now windows, you can get it to auto window when you select a window. If you can see, you've got it so you can place it manually, but then if you change it onto the room, you can then just window the entire room. I personally prefer doing it manually, as I can put them then wherever I like, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just thinking about spacing and where to put the windows. For the bathroom, I do use this tiny little rectangle window. That way it gives it some natural light coming in from the outside, but it's also not too open so people can look in and see what you're doing, because Don't know about you guys, but I personally do not want someone looking in and seeing me doing my business. Okay, so choosing the flooring. I love this flooring. This flooring is one of my favourite floorings. It just makes the room look so bright. So I have used a wooden flooring for all of the rooms apart from the bathroom. I've used this nice chic looking white tile. And then again from the City Living pack. I was going to use that, but it was too blue. So I've just gone for base game tiles there. I've gone for a very bright white bathroom. I just think it makes it look I think it makes it look a lot cleaner and crisp, which is something quite nice. I was thinking of a teen girl in that bedroom there, so that's why I've made the walls pink, and then the master bedroom is going to be a greeny blue kind of colour. Now this is one of my favourite wallpapers. The Lion in Fall is one of my favourite wallpapers in The Sims, and it is base game, which is really, really handy. So I've used that for the living room. For the kitchen, I am thinking of putting in tiles, but some tiles, especially these ones, they just don't look right as a kitchen. I was again going to use the City Living tiles, but again that didn't look right, so instead I've gone for these base game white tiles. I'm only using the tiles on the kitchen half of this room, and then for the dining half I am going to be using wallpaper. Here I am trying to select. I was going to use this green, but it was too green, so instead we've gone for a lighter green with a white trim, which I think is quite nice. I do quite like that. I'm very pleased with that one. But now we are moving on to the kitchen. I always start with the kitchen. I find it's just the easiest room to do. So I am using these counters in a grey with a white marble top. And I am leaving spaces, and the reason for that is I play Sims on the Xbox. My computer, unfortunately, isn't really suitable enough to run Sims properly. It makes it very laggy, and it just doesn't run properly. So the gaps there, you will see what I'm doing in a moment is I'm going into my counters, and if you select the little cog and icon on the left hand side, you can then change it to be corner pieces. You can set it on PC to be auto counters, so as soon as you put two next to each other in the corner, they will then change into a corner piece. But on the Xbox, unfortunately, we can't do that. Don't know why, but we can't do that. So I've put in the corner pieces, and I've put in a sink, and also the fridge, and also the cooker. Now they are my favourites. That cooker and that fridge are my favourites. I really, really like them. So I'm just putting in a overhead heater or vent for the cooker, and then I'm just selecting the cabinets to go above it. So I've gone for these cabinets. They are base game in a white colour, and you can do the same thing with the cabinets as you can with the counters. You can select the cog icon on the left hand side to change them into half tiles, corner pieces, tiles. You can even go for a double tile, which makes it go from floor to ceiling, and it's really, really long. I was a little bit annoyed with the windows because the windows unfortunately go across two panels, slap bang in the middle, so the sink would not sit directly under the window, which was quite annoying, but I got around it. So I have just moved around the kitchen slightly just to make it look a little bit better. And as you saw then, I was checking on the window to make sure that you couldn't see the cabinets through the window, because I don't know anybody who has cabinets going over their windows. So I changed that tile then to a half tile. Moving on to the dining room, I'm looking for quite a long table to fill up that space. So I went for this one. This one I do believe is base game. And then I'm just looking for some chairs. I wanted some nice chairs. But Sims 4 are really kind of limited on chairs. They either look very IKEA or they look very fancy, and the fancy ones are really, really expensive. But I did go for these chairs, which are base game chairs, which I really, really like. And then in the centre I am going to put just some flowers there, which I think is really, really nice. The walls are a little bit bare in this house, but I am going to find a picture to put right on the back of that wall there, because that wall is pretty big and very, very open. So I did put this picture up from the City Living pack. It's quite a nice, it's kind of like a canvas, 3 canvases with different designs on them, which are quite nice. But then I remembered I needed to put in the back door, and I didn't know whether that canvas would then fit after I put the back door in there. So I put the back door in, and no, I think, do I go back? No, I think I changed my mind here. I think, yeah, I go for eggs and oranges on a plate from the Dine Out pack, which suits the kitchen quite nicely actually. I think that actually looked quite nice. Choosing a fireplace now, so I do go for a base game fireplace. Unfortunately, it is a very expensive fireplace. Going to use a base game TV to put above that, right in the centre. In the living room, I have gone for a yellow, orange and black theme. So here I've got the coffee table, which is a sort of tan kind of colour, which is really, really nice. It does suit the whole house as well, especially with the light flooring and the yellow walls. I thought that fit quite nicely. And then we're going to go for this tan kind of colour couch as well, which is a base game item, which is perfect. And then I am going to try and find the matching chair as well. There it is. On the Xbox, I know on PC you can hold down the Alt key and you'll be able to get full control of the object that you're holding, so it won't snap to the grid. On the Xbox, what you have to do is you have to press the left trigger a few times, and then it will come up with full grid snapping, half grid snapping, and then free placement. If you go onto free placement, you can then just move it however close or as far to an object as you want. Also in the living room, I did want to put a computer, because sometimes when I do build houses, I end up building them so small that you can't fit a computer in. So in the corner there, I've just gone for a light wood desk and table, and chair, sorry, and the computer. That is one of my favourite computers. It's from the City Living pack and it's one of my favourite computers. This globe as well is a bar. I did not know that until my sim was drinking alcohol and they were stood next to that bar. I didn't realise that at all, but no, yep, that globe there is a bar. Your children can actually look at it as well and sort of study it, which is quite good as well. So in this corner here, I am putting in a jukebox and to listen to music to. Over on the other side, you can see there is a art canvas for someone to do some painting, and next to that is a piano. What was it? No, a keyboard. Sorry, a keyboard. So I think this family is going to be quite creative as well. Over in this big space, now if you ever are running out of things to put in spaces, you know, you've used enough all of the pictures all around, then put an end table. If you get an end table, you can put loads of extra things on it. So here I've put some mail, I've put some tissues, some salt and pepper obviously onto the table. So I'm just cluttering up all of the items here, but end tables are really, really, really handy if you want to save space and put lots of clutter items on there. And in my opinion, guys, when you're building in Sims, the more clutter you put in, the more homey it looks. It looks as though a family definitely lives there and it's not just been made and they've just walked in and not unpacked. So on top of the fireplace here, I am putting some pictures up. I've got a butterfly picture, I've got a football team picture, maybe one of the children likes football, or maybe one of the parents used to be in a football team, and I've just put some plants on top as well. Plants are another good way to sort of fill up empty spaces. You can obviously size up and size down items in The Sims 4. On Xbox, you have to hold down both of the triggers and then use the keypad and use the arrows on the keypad to size them up and down. On the PC, I do believe it is just the brackets on the keyboard that size up and down an item. So the living room's now finished. I am moving now on into the bathroom. So with the bathroom, I decided to keep it sort of old-fashioned with this toilet. The toilet looks pretty old, but I do go for base game items here. So I'm going in for this nice yellow and white shower. I wanted to add a bit of colour into the bathroom instead of it being just all plain white. So I'm adding in the sink next door. But then I realised I didn't really like the way that the toilet was there, so I have just moved the door over and put the toilet where the door used to be. Just adding in a nice yellow rug underneath so you can dry your feet when you come out of the shower. And obviously adding in all of the necessities, so toilet roll, a face cloth for you to wash your face with, and a towel next to the shower and bath. Beautiful. Right, moving on to the teenage girls' room. Now this room is L-shaped, so putting in a bed is going to be a little bit of fun, especially with the way that the Sims are, because Sims need a certain amount of space for them to be able to get past things, which is kind of annoying because especially in a bedroom, if you can't get to somewhere, you tend to just hop over your bed if your bed's in the way. But there we go. So in here, I have given her quite a princessy kind of room. So she's got quite a fancy pink bed. She's got a lot of pink and a lot of whites. So she's got a pink dresser over there and a white mirror just at the end of her bed there. So here I'm just sorting out her end table. I did want to give her a fancy looking light, but then I noticed that here from the Vintage Glamour pack, you have it's a light that looks as though it's in a collection of like perfumes and things like that, which I thought was really, really cute, and I thought that would suit her room quite well. I did change the mirror. I changed it to this big star mirror. I did try sizing it up, but it just didn't fit on the wall properly, so I've left it at its original size and just popped that onto the wall on the side there. I was going to go for fairy lights. I was thinking about putting fairy lights above her bed across the wall, but they didn't sit very well. You'll see in a minute. I've put two next to each other, but then I couldn't get a third one and it just looked a bit ridiculous. I tried moving them along and no, it looked really, really silly. But now we've got this big space over here, so I thought maybe she's got a TV in her room. That would be something that I would like to have. I know I have got a TV in my room, but I remember being quite young and wanting a TV in my room. It was the cool thing back then. And just to fill up the space again, I am using some ornaments and a end table. But I did not realise the doll that is on the far right of the end table, I didn't realise that was a skeleton doll. If you actually zoom in on that doll, it's a skeleton, and I did not realise that. I thought it was like a China doll, so I kind of put that in of all of my houses that I've ever built on Sims, and I've only just realised now that it is a skeleton doll, and it's actually quite creepy looking. But I just thought I'd let you guys know that that is definitely a skeleton doll. So on the dresser now I am putting a few little essentials, so some nail polish, some perfume, some moisturising cream, things like that. And of course her school bag is going to go next to her bed. I did pick this nice pink one to match her room. And moving on now to the master bedroom. Now I like the master bedroom, I like the colour of the master bedroom quite a lot. I have gone for a blue and white kind of theme. Blue, white and black is the theme. So we've gone for a very fancy bed and some very fancy side tables. So this family is probably doing quite well in money, but not well enough to get a mansion yet. But I think that's kind of where the family would possibly want to go. So I've just put some lamps onto the end tables and onto the side tables, and now I'm just figuring out which dresser I would like. So I have gone for this one in black, white and gold, and a very fancy mirror there. I do like that mirror, but it's a shame that it doesn't come in any more colours. It only comes in black and gold. But here I'm adding now a fluffy rug, a white fluffy rug, just to tie the room all in together. And then on the top of the dresser I am going to put a little bit of clutter on there. So I am going to put in some men's shirts on there. Shoes as well. I would imagine that this family had a lot of shoes, especially the teenage daughter, because you can never have enough shoes. Or in my case, you can never have enough bags. I have so many bags, it is unreal how many I have. So maybe this family has a lot of shoes. Maybe they have a lot of shoes. So the interior of the house is done. Now to work on the exterior. So we are going to put in a back garden. I didn't want to make it too big, but I also didn't want to make it too small. So I've just put a white picket fence, which is base game, outside there to create the garden. Just putting in a barbecue and a few chairs out there for them to sit down. There we are. Also in the garden, I do like to put a few potted plants because it is nice to have the Sims do a bit of gardening. So I've just put 4 of them outside, and outside as well. I don't know why, but I always put a chess table outside. I don't know if it's just me that does that, but I always put a chess table outside. I have put it inside one of my houses once. I think only once have I put my chess table actually inside the house. I don't know why, but I always think that the chess table goes outside. So now that the house is actually fully built, the next thing to do is a bit of landscaping. So if you go onto the build menu again, there is a square that looks like a little patch of grass. If you go on there, you can actually do some terrain paint, where you can select grass, you can select flowers, dirt and pavements. So here I've just selected a pavement to do as a pathway going up to the front of the house, because the door is on the side. So I thought having a little pathway leading up to the house would be quite a nice idea. And then here I'm just doing some landscaping, so I am just getting a few trees to place around the house just to give it a little bit of life. This house I am building in Fern Park, which is in Newcrest. I am trying to fill up Newcrest completely, which is turning out to be very difficult because I end up building the same houses. I need to try and change the way that I build things and try and build houses that are a little bit different from each other. But after putting down some trees, I thought the front of the house, especially by where the windows are, was a bit bare. So I am putting a few flowers in front of the house, just under the windows like this. They are lovely lavenders, and lavender smells beautiful. So when you walk up to this house, it's just going to smell gorgeous. It's going to smell absolutely beautiful. The other side of the house did look bare as well. I was going to try and put these bushes next to the pathway, but of course with Sims you can't actually put anything onto the edge of the lot. So you can't put a fence there either, or you can put your terrain paint there, but you can't put trees, you can't put bins or anything right onto the edge of the lot. So instead I decided to put those 2 bushes underneath the window on the right hand side of the house. Now to make things look even more realistic, I'm going in with the terrain paint again. I'm using some dirt and just outlining the base of the trees and just outlining the base of the flowers, just to make it look as though they are sat in soil, as if the family have planted them, and also to look as though the trees are actually growing in the ground, not just placed on top of some greenery. In my personal opinion, that just makes it look just a tiny bit more realistic. The fact that you've got this soil and then you've got the flowers on top of the soil, it just makes it look as though they are actually growing in there as well. So I do think that makes it look just a little bit realistic. So other than house builds, I have got something exciting to tell you guys. I have just finished filming a Create a Sim video for a Let's Play. So on my channel I am going to be doing a let's play, just a let's play The Sims 4. I have created the character. Her name is Daisy, and I will be uploading her Create a Sim on Saturday. Sim Saturdays as what it's going to be. And then the Saturday after will be the first ever episode of the Let's Play, and I'm really excited. And I hope you guys enjoy the Let's Play, and please, if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments below and we can make that happen. If you have any ideas on like careers for Daisy or anything like that, it would be much appreciated. So now the build is complete, I am going to go now guys and leave you with the screenshots. Hope you enjoy. Bye guys!